Y'all are both still married? Like, I remember when I first heard this and they're both married and I'm like, the heart wants what the heart wants. But it's been years now. Y'all both still married after all this done hit the light of day?
What the hell is wrong with you?
Let me see Kristi Noem's husband. Yeah, I can see why he's still. I get it. Yeah. Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and this is Street Politics. Now, there I was having a beautiful Black History Month. Did you know an alt-black rock band from Atlanta just went #1 on the Billboard Alternative chart for the first time ever? Hey, shout out to the Paradox. I can get with that. They should have played some of that during NBA All-Star Weekend, also during Black History Month.
Passing up the side of the backboard.
Yes. At a certain point, see how the ball is angling in. And then,
He's good. Take your time.
They can't all be wins. But they can't all be wins. We have taken some L's during Black History. I ain't never seen that. Did he get put in concussion protocol from the dunk competition? I remember one time I was in a 3-point competition. I put somebody in concussion protocol because my ball went straight into the stands. But this I ain't never seen that. Well, one thing they know that Black people love to do is dish. We absolutely love our tea. And look what we got that landed right in our lap. A pilot fired over Kristi Noem's missing blanket and the constant chaos inside DHS. Wait a minute. I found a blanket. She wearing it. She wearing the blanket. No, not on her arms. That's not what she got on. That's not the blanket? I thought she just unraveled the blanket and made extensions. That's not what that is? Secretary with close advisor Corey Lewandowski faces fire for confrontational immigration crackdown and self-promotional style. White House to wind down Minnesota operations. Close advisor Corey Lewandowski, you say? Well, that's one way to put it. That is definitely one way to put it. Now, we have addressed the nature of their relationship before, have we not? It wasn't a problem that she allegedly had an affair with Corey Lewandowski. In fact, so many people posted about that Lewandowski was trending. And it wasn't for this. Their relationship's so messy, you gotta double bag it. Because if you get anywhere close to it, you get hit. Ain't that right, Hope Hicks? Cocksure Corey was getting it in. First it was Hope Hicks and then Noem, but then she supposedly dumped him after he propositioned a rich donor's wife, and Noem went back to her husband, or should I say Rob Porter. Hicks moved on to Rob Porter, who resigned over allegations he abused his 2 ex-wives. Or should I say Brad Parscale? And then Brad Parscale, who you might remember being arrested.
Get on the ground, man. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground, man. Easy. Get on the ground. What do you say?
Well, this should be messy. It was 2 days after federal agents had shot and killed Alex Preddy, and Noem was facing fire from all sides. Even some inside the administration were pushing President Trump to remove her from her position for her handling of the chaotic immigration enforcement operation in Minneapolis and comments she had made saying Preddy committed an act of domestic terrorism. So Noem's top advisor, Corey Lewandowski, messaged Trump's pollster with a request. They needed to cut an ad to help her, according to 2 people familiar with the episode. The pollster, who worked on Trump's 2024 re-election campaign, ignored the entreaty, the people said. Now, if you ever just needed a snapshot of this administration and how they operate, coming out of the Alex Preddy shooting, They reached out to a pollster, not to see what the people think. They didn't reach out to somebody that was connected with some of the groups on the ground to try and bridge a gap. Reached out to a pollster to help her. The woman who ran right to camera to talk about how he was a domestic terrorist. That's their priority. Throughout her tenure as Secretary of Homeland Security, a sprawling agency charged with carrying out Trump's central campaign promise of mass deportation, Noem has attempted to burnish her personal stardom at every turn. With Lewandowski, Trump's former campaign manager, at her side, she staged a headline-grabbing immigration crackdown while sidelining rivals and dissenters. Is it sidelining because they all over the sidewalk, all over America? Is that what makes it sidelining? And as far as her personal stardom is concerned, I can't tell whether or not she's trying out for all these various jobs or Macy's catalog. I really couldn't tell. She won't get hired for none of them after this, though. I can tell you that.
Here she is as an accountant. Okay, now look at the glasses. I'm telling you, I think she's got some sort of dress-up kink.
She's carried out confrontational operations over the objections of longtime immigration officials who warn such flashy displays would discredit the department's ultimate mission, according to 24 current and former administration officials. Instead, she's made the case that her approach would lead to more arrests, as well as induce more people to leave on their own. Now, she's right about that. She's definitely right about that. Her approach absolutely induced more people to leave on their own. Just like in any other capacity she served in, she has induced more people to leave on their own. So she's right in that regard. Why do I suddenly get Kristi Noem's nomination? Now it makes sense because they just talked about how people were concerned the flashy displays would discredit the department's ultimate mission and the department at large. Well, it's hard to discredit Kristi Noem now, isn't it? It's discrediting Kristi Noem is like discrediting me when I was in my 20s, running that car to the max for FUBU. Like I can't be discredited. There's no way to do that. Within DHS, Noem and Lewandowski frequently berate senior level staff, give polygraph tests to employees they don't trust, and have fired employees. In one incident, Lewandowski fired a U.S. Coast Guard pilot after Noem's blanket was left behind on a plane, according to people familiar with the incident. I once left a phone on a plane and they wouldn't let me go back and get it. I know all about that. I know. And don't be traveling international. You in another country. You on the tarmac. You in another country. They be wildin'. Hey, welcome to America, Corey Lewandowski. And by the way, as far as the polygraph test to employees you can't trust, as I have learned, and many people have learned in the course of being a part of adult relationships, if you have to go to polygraph tests, just pack your things. Just pack up. Just pack up. If you really want to sit that person down, your trust is at a point where you want to connect wires. Look into Zillow and Rent.com. Like it's just see what's available. See what's available. Call your mama and tell her she was right. He ain't no good.
Emotional damage.
Are y'all still looking for that blanket? Ask Cash Patel. Ask Cash, because he be, I'm saying, not only he be flying around, but he be taking other people's things. We saw that with that jacket. So, you know what I mean? You know how they do. Oh no, we can't blame Dan Margino no more. He left. So it's going to be Cash. Eventually, the president put White House border czar Tom Homan in charge of Minnesota. Homan has long advocated a less conspicuous approach to immigration enforcement. He said he would be winding down the immigration operation there. Now, Noem and Lewandowski have embarked on a rehabilitation tour. the pair worked to hastily solidify their relationship with the president, successfully requesting an Oval Office meeting with Trump 2 days after the Preding shooting. Noem's team quickly scheduled a series of press conferences on other matters, including an event highlighting airport security in Miami and an announcement about the border wall in Arizona. Days after Preddy's shooting, the pair were spotted sitting together at the Mar-a-Lago wedding of Dan Scavino, a longtime political advisor to Trump who also attended the wedding. Noem and Lewandowski mingled with top administration officials at the reception. A DHS spokeswoman said Noem serves at the pleasure of the president and has successfully clamped down on inefficiencies to save billions of dollars, calling her efforts a roaring success. How low would the approval rating of ICE have to be for you not to call it a roaring success? Does ICE have to be minus 100 for you to not call it a roaring success? If you are the only person that would connect those words to ICE, you still would do it? Yes, you would. What does it mean? Absolutely. Say it again, y'all. Noem and Lewandowski's close relationship had already made Trump and his top advisors uncomfortable. Lewandowski had initially wanted to formally serve as Noem's chief of staff, but Trump rejected the idea due to reports of a romantic relationship between the two, which he has continued to bring up, officials say. Ooh, which he has continued to bring up. You know what that means. You know what that means. He jealous. He jealous. He jealous. He keep bringing it up. Okay. Hey, when y'all come around, he keep playing Ain't No Fun off Doggy Style. It ain't no fun if the homies get happy. You know what I'm talking about. He be playing the dog pound. I knew it. And also not to be ignored here. This article says Noem and Lewandowski's close relationship had already made Trump and his top advisors uncomfortable. Trump and his top advisors made them uncomfortable. Do you know how shady your relationship has to be to make a group of people uncomfortable that are littered all over the Epstein files? You make them uncomfortable.
He's right, you know.
Apparently, they need more blankets. Apparently, they need more blankets to throw, you know what I mean, to throw over whatever's going on is making them uncomfortable. You know what I mean? They were right to look for the blanket. Now I see what the purpose was. Why don't y'all ask Lauren Boebert? Why don't y'all, when it comes to throwing a blanket over some, physical, ask Boebert about that. Oh, y'all not on speaking terms no more? After tabloid photos of Lewandowski showed him going back and forth between his apartment and Noem's across the street last year, the secretary moved into a government-owned waterfront house on a military base in Washington that is provided to the leader of the U.S. Coast Guard. The Coast Guard falls under Noem's purview at DHS during peacetime. Lewandowski also spends time at the house. So let me get this straight. After he was caught creeping from her place, they got her a new place with a made-up excuse of why she can use it. And he's been seen at that place as well. Sound like a whole lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. I can tell you that. It sounds like a whole lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. Just be free. Just be free. Now I see why they hate the LGBTQ community. Because people that are can't live their truth hate other people living their truth, loud and proud. It forces them to confront their own inadequacy. That's why now I see why that is. Hey, Corey Lewandowski, pop out that closet. Come on, man. Just be you and be free. And I can tell you this, I would love to hear the work reasons for all that creeping. I would love to hear the work, because apparently they don't need an office. They just need the clandestine apartment meetings. They don't need the office. Y'all need to open that up. That sounds like waste, fraud, and abuse. Get Doge on that. Doge. It was an organization used to exist that had MAGAs all excited, thought they was going to get checks, and then quietly went away, and the leader got named in the Epstein files.
What?
The DHS spokeswoman said Noem moved to the house for increased security and pays rent. Lewandowski and Noem, who are both married, have publicly denied the reports of the affair, but people said they do little to hide their relationship inside the department. The DHS spokeswoman said the department, quote, doesn't waste time with salacious, baseless gossip. That was a whole lot to unpack. So let me get this straight. First of all, y'all are both still married? Like, I remember when I first heard this and they're both married and like the heart wants what the heart wants. But it's been years now. Y'all both still married after all this done hit the light of day?
What the hell is wrong with you?
Let me see Kristi Noem's husband. Yeah, I can see why he's still. I get it. I get all that. Bro, they not even hiding it at work. Making no excuses to hide it at work. I mean, come on. I've seen people try and stay together at the end of the episode of Cheaters look better than this.
I think they...
But my favorite part of all of this is the DHS spokeswoman saying the department doesn't waste time with salacious, baseless gossip while they do little to hide their relationship inside the department. The level of credibility. There's a baby that was just born since I started recording this video got more credibility than DHS. I mean, that's wild. And it makes perfect sense why they would be this messy. That's exactly how she is with everything else she does.
When you write in the book, I remember when I met with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, I'm sure he underestimated me. That, as I understand, is now being removed from the book at your request.
Yes, when I became aware of that, we changed the content, and the future editions will be adjusted. And, I appreciate that. I've met with many, many world leaders. I've traveled around the world. I should not have put that anecdote in the book. And at my request, they have removed it.
That specific meeting didn't happen?
I'm saying that I'm not talking about that meeting. I'm not talking about my meetings with world leaders.
But you
there's
do
some
talk
that are
about
in the
meetings
book.
with world leaders.
There's some that are in the book, and then there's some that's not in the book.
And this story is about more than just Kristi and Corey's childish behavior and their companionship. It's also about their reckless spending on the taxpayer's dime. Because the Journal matched earlier reporting from ProPublica, which found that Kristi Noem spent over $200 million of taxpayer money on ads that featured her telling immigrants to leave the country. Money that ProPublica reports was funneled to an ad firm tied to Kristi Noem. It's like they think people won't notice here. People notice.
The pair have lately been using a luxury 737 MAX jet with a private cabin in the back for their travel around the country, according to people familiar with the matter. DHS is leasing the plane, but is in the process of acquiring it for approximately $70 million. The purchase would be double the cost for each of 7 other commercial planes the department is also buying at the pair's direction to carry out deportations. In official documents, the luxury plane is earmarked for, quote, high-profile deportations. High-profile deportations? Were y'all deporting Pepe Le Pew? Like, what? Come on, man. High-profile deportation? That's why you need a cabin in the back?
Now, the Wall Street Journal also reports that Noem and Lewandowski have been using a luxury 737 MAX jet with a private cabin in the back for their travel, a plane that DHS is in the process of acquiring for approximately $70 million. You can just keep adding all of this up on a little notebook if you would like. The plane is paid for with money from the Big Ugly Bill, and it's supposed to be used for high-profile deportations. But charter planes are primarily being used for deportation. So this private plane has become kind of more of a job perk for Noem. Her staff have even taken to calling it the Big Beautiful Jet as she jets around in it herself in her various costumes. Maybe they're on the plane, who knows? A DHS spokeswoman told the Journal that the plane was used for both deportations and cabinet-level travel. But I would just note here that no detail on what exactly that breakdown is has been provided.
That's crazy. Hey, bro. Yeah, they got a cabin in the back of the jet, man. They had to move apartments. You remember when you was trying to call Kristi, give her an update on what was going on with the kids, and you couldn't reach her? Because they disconnected that phone because she got moved because of the whole tabloid thing where they caught the dude creeping and all that. Hey, they got a cabin in the back of the jet, man. I'm going to ask you the same thing that I asked her when she gave us that story after both incidents in Minneapolis. What needs to happen? You want Tommy Grand to show you the video?
This is egregious work. This is nasty, egregious work.
Hey, you know they got Peter Guns is hosting Cheaters now. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I'll be honest. It's his best performance since Love and Hip Hop for sure.
Not this one. Head, there, wherever you want to do it. I'm always with the. I'm not with that, B. I'm not a female. I dare you to put your hands on me. I'm asking for. I want all the smoke.
I bet you do.
I'm in the smoker section. I live in the smoker section.
I don't smoke.
I do.
Behind the scenes, Noem and Lewandowski have attempted to curry favor with Trump and box out rivals, including Homeland. For months, Noem and Lewandowski had demanded ICE capture its arrest on video for social media. The more dramatic, the better. But more than a week after Preddy's shooting, Noem and Lewandowski berated Todd Lyons, the acting ICE director, for videos that emerged in Minnesota showing federal officers continuing to tangle with protesters, according to people familiar with the conversation. The president hated the continued stream of videos. They told Lyons, whom they pinned the blame on. They demanded that he draw up a new plan for ICE to carry out targeted enforcement, an approach Lyons had been advocating all along, according to ICE officials, but that the pair had previously eschewed. Oh, this must be that accountability that MAGA loves to. This must be that accountability. You blame the guy who told you the right thing to do in the first place. That's wild. That's nasty work right there. As far as the publicity that they wanted, how do you misread the public opinion to such a degree where you are not only failing at the objective, because as people have very publicly put out, we've had more deportations in prior regimes that moved quietly and moved peacefully. They wanted the drama. You thought this was the move. Y'all wanted. So you're not actually getting people out the country, but you're upsetting people with how you're going about wrangling and deporting the people that you are accosting. I can't imagine misreading public opinion that badly. I ain't heard of misread that bad since Trump said like 85% of America was MAGA. And that wasn't even that long ago. That's crazy. Yeah. Hey, I said accountability. Accountability. I know. We'll work on vocabulary words afterwards. Now's not the time. And also keep in mind, this coming from the Wall Street Journal. This coming from the Wall Street Journal. So Trump might not be through with you, but a good chunk of people on your side of the aisle most certainly are. Rodney Scott, the commissioner of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, has told administration officials that Noem and Lewandowski have mismanaged the construction of the border wall, another of Trump's top immigration priorities, according to people familiar with the matter. The project received a $46.5 billion infusion from Congress in 2025 that must be spent by 2029. One of the contracts for bulk steel sat on Noem's desk for approval for so long that from the time the deal was struck in December until it was signed February 10th, the price of steel went up more than $100 million. A senior administration official said Noem blamed Scott for the wall's delay in a conversation with Trump earlier this year.
It's not just the apparent grift that makes this story so eye-popping, although it does make it eye-popping. It's also about Noem's wild mismanagement of the agency she runs. Noem has forced all DHS contracts over $100,000 to require her personal sign-off, supposedly to rein in spending. But the policy has actually done the opposite. According to the Journal, one contract for bulk steel sat on her desk for so long, by the time she actually approved it, the price of steel had gone up by more than $100 million.
Boy, I'm telling you, anytime I think I have reached the bottom, like I've never seen a performance this bad. This is Kristi. So you let it sit on your desk so long, the price of steel went up $100 million, and then you turn around. Let me see Rodney Scott. Now, because he was your fall guy. That sound familiar. Let me see Rodney Scott. That's not what I was expecting. She must have thought she knew what Rodney Scott looked like, because that's what I thought. She was thinking what I thought. You like, oh, we gonna blame Rodney Scott, and then he show up, and you like, hey, hey, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Since taking office, the secretary has also closely monitored how her national profile compared with other administration officials. Top of her list was Homan, Trump's border czar, with whom she has been in a battle for power and influence inside the administration. Noem routinely berated staff if she saw Homan on TV and kept track of both their appearances to make sure she was on TV more than him, according to people familiar with the matter. On at least one occasion, she asked aides to ensure she drew a bigger crowd at a conference than Homan, who was speaking on a different day, one of the people said. Kristi Noem. I just expressed my shock that this level of thirst has survived to 2026. I didn't know it till I saw somebody at the Super Bowl filming herself not watching Bad Bunny. I guess you must be the mother hen of this level of thirst, keeping track of Tom Homan's appearances. Here's my question for you. Would you show up to hear Kristi Noem speak? No. Would you show up to hear Kristi Noem speak? Exactly. You know the answer to that question. That's why you got to work so hard getting people in the crowd. Lying to them, talking about Kid Rock and Lee Bryce going to be there. That's not going to help. Homan rarely speaks to the secretary and has complained repeatedly to the White House about her and Lewandowski. The cabin in the back? Is the cabin in the back? You be trying to work and then they in the cabin in the back. I feel you, Tom Homan. I feel you on that. I've been there. Yeah. I rode Greyhound before. The secretary refers to internal meetings at DHS with sub-agency heads as cabinet meetings. Oh, that's not a big deal. Just from doing this job all the time and not going outside much. Sometimes I go downstairs and just talk to the woodwork, and I call that cabinet meetings too. So I've been there. I can understand it. Hey, Kristi Noem was having too many cabinet meetings. That's why she invited Corey Lewandowski over. In recent days, Noem has made appeals to Republicans to write op-eds backing her, according to people familiar with the matter. And one such op-ed titled "America Needs Kristi Noem's Leadership," published in Newsweek, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry, an ally of Noem's who attended her swearing-in ceremony, praised the secretary's role in helping states prepare for the recent winter storm. The DHS spokeswoman said Noem didn't ask supporters to write op-eds. Okay, so now we know that she did. I don't know what is sadder. The fact that you felt the need to reach out to people to write op-eds. You clearly sensed public sentiment turning against you, you know, the kind of thing that you would deny because you guys are so successful according to yourselves, yet you feel the need for people to write op-eds on your behalf. Make it make sense. What's worse, that you had to publicly appeal for op-eds or that you had to land at Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry? Jeff Landry You landed at Jeff Landry. You sure the cabinet from the West Wing wasn't available? They couldn't have wrote you none of the people on the West Wing? What about House of Cards? Any of the House of Cards actors want to write you an op-ed? Within DHS, Noem and Lewandowski have cut employees or put them on administrative leave. The pair have fired or demoted roughly 80% of the career ICE field leadership that was in place when they started. Now, this article does a ton in talking about retribution that was taken for people who stood in the way, as in the case with Rodney Scott and others like it, who advised them for a better way forward. And now you see this kind of treatment being given to people just because they happen to be in place when they take over. And I just want us to grapple with this level of incompetence making these kinds of decisions. When we had to sit there and listen all last year to people talk about this meritocracy that they wanted, that was the reasonings for us not being suitable for any position ever, was that we were DEI and we want the best available. Tell me how Kristi Noem and by proxy Corey Lewandowski could have managed DHS literally any worse. What would they have had to have done? What would they have had to have done for them to have managed this any worse? Remember, she's also head of FEMA, which is an organization where people came forward to say another Hurricane Katrina is on the way because of how bad she's handling that. Tell me what she needed to do to handle this position any worse, and then has the nerve to be in a position to be taking out retribution and cutting out long-serving employees with institutional knowledge just because. Speaking of firing, whatever happened with that pilot who got fired because he didn't have the heart to tell her that the blanket she was looking for got made into extensions? In the blanket incident, Noem had to switch planes after a maintenance issue was discovered, but her blanket wasn't moved to the second plane, according to people familiar with the incident. The Coast Guard pilot was initially fired and told to take a commercial flight home when they reached their destination. They eventually reinstated the pilot because no one else was available to fly them home. Whatever your answer was when I asked how could she have handled this any worse, try again. Try again, because that ain't it. You fired that man over a blanket, tried to do the Trump cruelty thing, or should I say for Kristi Noem, the cricket cruelty thing. You tried to treat him like the goat and the Culver and tell him to take a commercial flight home just out of cruelty and meanness, only to have to circle back around and ask him to fly y'all home. He better than me. He better than me. You would have flew home on that blanket like the genie from Aladdin, as far as I'm concerned. You would have had to go get some scissors and shear out the back and get on that and ride that home. Not after you told me to take a commercial flight. No, I'm already on United. I can't even. United, American Delta. I told them what happened with Kristi Noem and they couldn't wait to get me home to my family. So that, I'm good. Now I'm definitely good on that. The DHS spokeswoman didn't address the episode, but said the secretary has made personnel decisions to deliver excellence. The same DHS spokesperson that sat there and denied this whole entire article, the kind of person that would say she makes personnel decisions to deliver excellence that haven't involved stepping down, right? The same person who would say that couldn't even address the blanket. Even she was like, that was a bad one. That was a bad one. There's a whole lot more in this article. Apparently, Corey Lewandowski likes to cosplay too, went through all layers of the cabinet in order to get himself a badge and a gun for being Kristi's kept man. Like, did you need the badge and a gun for access to the cabin in the back? Like, I just, y'all wild. Y'all wild. But the wildest thing is, for some reason, they've been moving like this for as long as they have without the understanding that we can all see you. You're not in the cabin in the back. We can all see you. We can all see all of this. And no amount of firings or retributions is going to unring that bell or unwash that blanket. Gotta be disgusting.